This is Dr. Frank A. Thomas with another installment of Living Your Passion. And I want to this version of our presentation to discuss what's called the dark night of the soul. I want to do this by illustration through Jacob in Genesis 33, who went through a dark night of the soul. You will remember Jacob, of course. You remember Jacob. He was a trickster. He was a heel. He was a manipulator. You remember Jacob? He tricked his father. He stole his brother's birthright. He took the blessing. You remember Jacob? And so Jacob leaves in fear because his brother Esau, whom he had tricked, was very angry. Well, many years go by, and Jacob hears that Esau is coming toward him with 400 men. Jacob is now scared to death that Esau is going to take out revenge. So he takes his family, sends them across the river so that they can be safe, and then he comes back, and Genesis 33 records that he wrestles. He was overtaken by a force and a power that was more powerful than he was. He was wrestling with an angel. Now, I call this a dark night of the soul because Jacob wrestled all night long. It's a dark night of the soul because Jacob finally has to deal straight up. No excuses. He can't manipulate. He can't be a trickster. He can't be a leg puller. He has to wrestle, and he wrestles and he wrestles. And the Bible says he prevails. He lasts all night long, so much so that daybreak is coming, and the angel says, please let me go, for it is daybreak. And you remember, Jacob says, no, you cannot leave until you bless me. A dark night of a soul is a struggle of life and death. It's when you have two choices and you have to wrestle with yourself as to what it is you honestly want and honestly believe, and it's agonizing. It's agonizing. Jacob is wrestling. But see, the dark night of the soul is you can, if you stay with it and if you trust God and if you are honest about what you really want and what you really believe, then God will show you what it is you really must do, and then you will discover what Jacob discovered, that God changed his name from Jacob to Israel. He went from being a leg puller to the father of a nation. And you know what happened? When daybreak came, Jacob had a limp because the angel touched him and gave him a limp. You see, when it's a dark night of the soul, it costs you something very important to you. It costs you. But to be freed for your ultimate destiny, to be freed for your ultimate purpose, you must face a dark night of the soul. And if you wrestle like Jacob wrestled, and if you stay with it, and if you're faithful, God will show you what to do. God will show you what you believe. And when God shows you, God will change your name. And then guess what David did? He left the place and called it Peniel, meaning the face of God. His dark night of the soul was really the face of God. Now, I know many of us think, we say, I'm going home to get in God's face, because God's face is a place of contentment and peace and joy. And it is ultimately. But you have to go through the dark night of the soul to be at the kind of peace, to relax and enjoy and do what Jacob did. He called the place God's face. May you find courage in the dark night of your own soul. May you find the courage to last, to prevail, and to discover that if you're faithful, God will change your name. God bless you. Thank you for listening. I want you to remember that every Monday we do a Periscope call on Preaching Live, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. I want you to also to remember that every week we upload Spiritual Vitamins to SoundCloud. Every Monday we upload a video version of a preaching series called Preaching and Celebration. And every Friday, we also upload a version of this series, Living Your Passion. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you next week.